Good day, wonderful people. Good to have you here once again. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on the part of the world from where you are watching me right now. Um, it's an amazing time to be sending this video once again. Please, I want you to kindly support our video by subscribing to the channel, liking the video, commenting if you have questions, or sharing the link to people that you know might be in need of the information we are passing across here. You are an auntie, an uncle, you're a sister, a brother, you have a younger one, you have a cousin that is in need of this information, and you don't know how best to relate or tell them, you don't know how best to guide them through this process. Why not just share this video with them, let them know about this. Yeah, let's move on to business. So today I promised that I'll be sharing 7 problems that I encountered and how I overcame them, during the time that I was trying to find my feet as a graduate student in the US. The application process, the things that happened to me, and how I was able to overcome them. I'm sure that at the end of this video, you will be able to, douse all your fears and know that you can do this. The seventh one is a game changer, and I want you to pay attention to that one. That seven, even if that's the only one you walked away from this video with, is going to help you a lot. I will talk so much about it because I think that's the bulk of the whole thing. So the first problem I encountered, or people, over time I've worked with people, I've helped people do this. So but some of the problems I hear them say, right, are these things that I'm going to talk about. So a brief introduction of myself, or maybe it's a brief story to encourage you to listen, right, is that I was able to go through all the processes of graduate studies. Yeah, search for opportunities for graduate studies abroad, and I did it by myself. My encouraging factor, right, what is making me come here to drop the wealth of knowledge I garnered during that time free of charge, is because during the process I actually was challenged. That has become my story. I approached one of the agents, right, that help people to do these things, and I wanted them to help me because I had been doing it over and over again, but I didn't get my result. As at that time, I thought I was not doing anything right, although I knew that there's a way you do things. When you're not getting your results, you begin to lose your confidence. That was what happened to me. So I approached the person and I requested for um assistance, like, can you just guide me through this, can you help me, maybe take a look at this. And she said the amount was over two over 1,000, about $1,999. $999, yes, that's almost 1,000. I think it was Canadian dollar or thereabout, but it was quite a large amount of money. So when I complained, she said that if I can't afford to pay that amount, that I should try ignorance. That education itself is expensive, that if I can't afford education, I should try ignorance. And that was quite painful, because I didn't want I wasn't really daft, and I wasn't an illiterate to what she was saying, just that I hadn't gotten my result as at that time, and it was really sad. I left, and in that comment section, people were telling her that you didn't need to say that, like, she didn't really mean to hurt you. She only asked a question and made a recommendation that you reduce the price. So I told myself, I decided within me that when I find my feet, when I'm able to get these things that I'm looking for, that I'm going to document the processes, the steps I took the mistakes I made in order for others to learn from it, and that's what I'm doing here. So if you remember this video is a fulfillment of promise and also a way to provide guidance to those that were in that shoe at that time that I was in, that are in the shoe I was in some years back, like those students that don't have money to pay agents to help them with school search or with applications and all that. You can do it by yourself. I did it myself and I have everything I wanted. And in this video, I'm going to be sharing the 7 mistakes I encountered, or the 7 experiences people are complaining about that held them back. Right now, the first one is age. I've come across some clients that said, because I'm this old, it's been this number of years since I graduated, I don't think it's still necessary for me to go back to school, and to those people, I understand you, but I want to remind you that education does not have an age limit. There's no age cap to education anywhere in the world. Why it appears as if there is a limit to education in Nigeria is because of the several complications in our education system. It's not meant to be so. There is no age at which you cannot go back to school. And I know there are several educational quotes. One of them is that once you stop learning, you start dying. Right? So there is no age limit to studying. There's no age limit to education. If you have graduated a couple of years ago, some 2 decades ago, and you feel stuck in your job, you feel like you can't move forward anymore, I want to encourage you with this video that you can do it. So that will lead me to telling you two stories of 2 recent clients that I've had. One was a branch manager. As at the time we met, he had built in Mowe. He had a building in Mowe and was heading to his office on a daily basis at VI. And he was doing relatively well as a Nigerian, right? He had been in this banking sector for a while. For him to be a branch manager, I'm sure he was doing well, but one thing just happened. I don't know what time he said he usually wake up and what time he's on his way commuting to his office at VI. But on a particular day, he said he was stuck in traffic on his way back from work, and as he was just leaning on his steering, he was so overwhelmed and he was tired, and he started asking himself a question. He was asking himself how long he was going to continue on that routine. For how long was he going to continue waking up at 3 a.m. from Mowe and heading to Lekki every single day, every single working day? And for some days that his weekends would get busy because he will need to be in meetings, and he had young children. His life, his health, and everything was at stake. For some of us, we are still experiencing those things, but we are not seeing them as enough challenges to make us have changes in our mindset. So as he learned on his steering that day, he promised himself that he was not going to continue that way, that he was going to do something differently. And that was the changing point for him. The other of my friend, that one is more recent, because he just left May 2022. He too was a big guy, attending conferences in and out of US, doing things, well placed in his office, in his organization. He had built his house in Lekki. He had a wife and children, so he was doing relatively well. But he also knew that if he continued that way, that a lot were going to not work the way he wanted. This person I'm talking about is a bit more advanced because his last child is 16 years old, right? So, but he had to take his future, he had to take his life and his destiny in his hands, and he promised himself to make changes. And that's how he contacted me. We started working through this process, and now he's where he is studying in the US. The last but not the least, I mentioned, I promised to, but let me do the third one. The third one is someone very close to me, had worked in the bank for over 10 years, but year in, year out, the same story. No promotions, sacking other colleagues left and right. Each day you come to work, you're so scared of what the next move of the management of the bank will be, and at a point he just told himself, I can't continue this way, and we started working together, and right now he's also in the US. These were people I worked with because I had known that I had all it took, or all it takes, sorry, to get these things right. But I was wondering why it wasn't working for me. But looking back right now, I actually realized that the whole reason why mine was rigmaroling was because God might have wanted me to document my progress or tell my story the way I'm telling it. So probably you are struggling or you're looking for guidance. I think it's here right now. I'm going to be answering your questions. I'm going to be demystifying your fears. So we've talked about age. So with these three stories I've told you, there is no, all these three were in their 30s. Like the second one that had a 16-year-old as his last child was maybe late 40s. The other one was a bit close to his 40s. So these are real life stories. I'm not cooking them up. They are true. If you want to meet with them, maybe you are advanced and you want to also talk to them, if they will oblige, I will contact you to them. But what I just want to tell you is that your age should not be a barrier to what you want to do, right? It shouldn't be. Now, the next problem I've had is the mindset. Is a problem of mindset. You have this thought that you cannot get anything done right. You can't do it. Maybe you failed a couple of times and you feel you can't do anything well. I want to assure you that that's a lie. That's a big fat lie. You can do anything when you have the adequate support and you have the needed guidance to get it done. So while at it, please ask all the necessary questions. We have the session, the comment section of this video. Ask your questions there. Subscribe to the channel so that you'll be notified when we have new. Subscribe to the channel and then click on the notification bell to know when we have new videos. It's a process, right? A process that entails so many parts, but I'm assuring you that we are going to be walking through this part together. So your age is not a barrier. That you cannot do it is a lie. You can do it, I'm sure. If I was able to do it, although it took me longer, you can do it even shorter, in a shorter period of time than I did, because I'll be here to answer your questions, and that will be because you don't have the funds to pay. So you will answer, you will do it, go walk in the steps that I'll be showing you, right? Now, the next one is that you tell yourself that even if you can get this thing, maybe you've tried a couple of times and you didn't have scholarship. It happened to me too. I got 2 offers, but I didn't get scholarship. 2 of them were not funded. And the truth is that if you're given if an admission and it's without funding, especially for a PhD in countries like US or UK, education is so expensive, like that my friend said. But I can't try ignorance. I know that there are also ways to access this global opportunities without paying. So here we are trying to say the things that are required, the necessary requirements, the criteria they will be looking for, in subsequent videos, that you can, as you are, get these scholarships. And that leads me to my next point, number 4, that it doesn't matter whether you graduated with a first class, a second, or a third class, right? It does not matter. No matter the class of education, degree that you graduated with. What is necessary is the way you present yourself. In your SOP, the only way you communicate with these graduates of admission officers, you can explain what happened. Probably you lacked focus when you were doing your undergraduate, but now you're a better person. You know what you want, and it's possible you've been doing one or two things you've been working in one or two areas in your job. You can blow this job, you can make these things so pronounced, right? Say them in a proper way that someone will read it and have this confidence that you can deliver. So it's all about packaging. It's all about knowing what to say and how best to put it out there for someone to understand that this person knows what he or she is saying. So having a third class is not the end of the world. People have made third class or worse, and yet they are doing very well. It's about your mindset. There are also others that have made second class or first class, and yet they are not doing anything with it. So I am, above all things, believing that the most important thing in this thing, in the whole process, is your passion, is your mindset, telling yourself that this thing I'm going to do it, and I don't care about what it will take, I will do it. That was what was keeping me. I told myself during those years that even if it seems as if I'm not able to get this thing for myself, I don't know how long it's going to take, but I'm not going to stop. I am not going to stop. And I did not stop. And right now I have my result, and I'm so excited at it. And I would want you also to join this league, and let's do this together, because it's a great place to be. Now, for some, they say everybody must not go abroad. That's our fifth point. The seventh one is the boom, and I'm almost there. That one will save you a lot of things. So you tell yourself that you cannot do the abroad, is not for you. It's not everybody that must go abroad. If we go abroad, who will change Nigeria? Yeah, that's a very good mindset. I also buy that mindset, but I will change Nigeria from where I am, because where I am, I will think better, I will think more effectively, right? I'll be able to do, even if it's a resources, I should be able to have more resources to affect and impact Nigeria, the much I can. So if you have told yourself that abroad is not for you, I think you're making a huge mistake, because abroad is actually for you. The people living abroad don't have three heads. They don't have their eyes on their head. They are normal human beings. Some black, some white, but the color does not matter. So if you've told yourself that abroad is not for you, you are making a big mistake. You have to try as much as you can to do all it will take to make sure that you change that mindset and change your situation. So if you've been stuck on your job and each day you're tired, you don't know what to do, you're just so confused of the whole thing, you complain up and down, you complain down and up. Complaints don't solve problems, actions do, right? Consecrated actions, focused activities brings results, not complaints. So if you complain from today to tomorrow, nothing will change if you don't do anything towards it. The same thing is with prayer. If you pray from today till tomorrow and you are lying down there, nothing will change. Bible tells us that faith without works is dead, and I wouldn't want you to have faith that does not have work. As you're having faith, get up and do the work, and trust the God of heaven and earth to give you favor even as you do the things you have to do, right? So you are on the right path. Don't be discouraged. Take off every negative mindset, every mindset that does not build up. You have to tear it down, you have to destroy it, because it's not of God. The desires of God is that you will be in health and prosper even as your soul prospers. So you have to get up and do the work. Now the sixth one is when you tell yourself that it is too late. You tell yourself admission has passed. In fact, the truth is that you don't even know the admission windows. You don't know when they are taking in for any session. You don't know how they count a university calendar, you don't know anything, you don't know deadlines, and they can't bring those things to toss on your face when you're not interested in finding them out, so they're about two academic sessions, but then when you're talking about the intakes, you can either have a fall intake, you can have a summer intake, depending on the country. They call it autumn, they call it spring, they call it winter in some countries. So but you need to bend down. If there is any time to The best time to plant a tree was 10 years ago, but the next best time is now. So it's not too late to start now and hit the ground running. You can do it. Gather your things. In our next video, we'll be looking at the document, the things that you need. Like if you have these things, you are ready to go. So I want you to try as much as you can. You can do it. If I could do it, I had 3 children. Though when I started, I did not have any. So that shows you that I did it for a while, but I did it for you. I wasted all that time so that you will not waste any time anymore. That's why I'm here providing this guidance free of charge. And I trust that you will pay attention to details. You ask thoughtful questions and you will make the searches as I will instruct you to, as I will show you. Because in our next videos, we are going to type the keywords on the search engine. There's nowhere else to find these things apart from Google. So I will teach you how to search, I'll teach you how to write your SOP, I'll teach you how to do the things you need to do. I promise I'll be holding you by the hands, and that's what I'll be doing here. Now, the last but not the least is I don't have money. You don't have money. This whole abroad thing, there is no money. I don't have money. I cannot pay school fees. I cannot pay. Agent said it's 200. I don't have it. No money. Lack of funds. Now this lack of funds is a global issue, right? It's a global problem. But even as it's a global problem, you will believe with me, okay, even if you don't want to believe, I'm telling you that government of countries, institutions, industries are bringing out huge sums of money, dosing out money, to schools to fund research. Find out how this thing can do this. Find out if it's possible for this one to do this. One day you see wristwatches like this. Tomorrow you see one gadget. It's all starts in the laboratory in schools. So some governments have decided that they must advance in unimaginable ways, and they fund education with everything they have, right? So it's this kind of government that we are looking for. And don't tell me you did not study science, you cannot do it. There is a course in my school now that we are doing. Everybody from every field of life is coming to that course. It's an interdisciplinary course. You don't need to have studied sciences. In fact, that project, the people in the project ranges from psychologists to philosophers to courses that I've never heard before, to neurologists, to everything. Those in design thinking, product managers, we are all together there. So it's not just for engineers. Scholarship is not just for engineers. It's not just for doctors. It's just for you to find where you are needed. Then sit down and find out what is required of you, and you do it, and you will be happy. You'll be happy. Don't think that it's all those people that did what and did not do that are getting it. You too can get it. And my desire is that by this time next year, by the time you look back to 1 year that you watched this video, you would have already been in your country of choice, in your school of choice, doing what you want to do, even if you didn't want to go to school. But because the best way to leave Nigeria is through studies, you have to bend your head and go to that school. And by the time you finish, you'll be happier. Because schools abroad are far better. They have a lot of equipment. We don't fund our school, unfortunately. But I trust God that with time, things will change in Nigeria, right? Now, again, with all these things we have said, we mentioned scholarship, we mentioned funding. When it comes to fund, when it comes to money, another thing I want to mention is when you're doing the school process, one of the other um steps is application, paying for your applications, so providing your application fees. This was when I found out this information, this particular one, it meant a lot to me. It was like a gold mine, because previously I had spent so much money paying application fees, but during my this last application that got me my admission offers, I didn't spend a dime, and I applied to several schools. I did not spend anything. Almost all the schools I applied to gave me waivers. Waivers. How did I do it? I wrote a letter to them. I told them that I have spent so much money recently and I don't have money to pay for my application fee again. Do they have a waiver offer that I will be glad if they can give me? They are always willing and open to listen. I wrote to several of them. Some accepted. Those that were accepted, I continued with the application. They gave me the waiver code. I put it in and I submitted my application. For those that did not agree, I left the application there because I did not have the money to pay that kind of money at that time to pay for the application fee. Thank God that I was able to get the offer. But I had previously also applied to several schools. Like, I remember the year I applied to 6 schools and I paid application fees for those schools. Some I had paid an application fee of $140 to a school. So when I'm saying this, I know it's demanding, but one of the ways they can require you, they waive the application fee for you, is when you attend their information session. So when you send them those mails, they will tell you the criteria. I know one of my friends and my client that I'm actually working with, that when I recommended this method for her, she sent them a mail. They told her to attend their application, their information session. Information session is a session where a school, or that same department or that program talks about their whole admission process, the requirements they need. Like, this information I'm giving, they will give you the date for the information session and the time. They'll give you in their timing and in the local time, so you are able to log in. So at the time of that information session, during the end of it, they either give application waiver codes to everyone that attended, or they harvest the emails of everyone in attendance and send those application waiver codes to them to apply free of charge. But like, what I'm trying to say is that you don't have to be scared about the amount you're going to dose out to pay for applications like I did previously. You can actually ask for application fee waiver. Either the school gives you directly, or they tell you how best to get it, maybe by attending the information session or by doing something and all that. But like, it's available. I have come to realize that in all this process, that what I needed most was not just even money, but information. Like, teach me how to fish. Do not give me fish. Do not give me fish. Teach me how to go get the fish. And that's what I'm teaching you now. Probably you didn't know before that you can have access to a fee waiver on your application. Is possible. I am sure of this in the US. I don't know about other parts of the country. Or for all the applications I did in Canada, I did not receive a waiver. So I don't know if it is possible in Canada. I think Canada was the country I paid the highest application fee, of $140. I had paid $100 as well. I had paid so much, not one school, right? Not one school. So they've eaten my money enough, and I don't want them to eat yours. That's why I'm releasing this information. If you attend the information session, maybe in your mail you can just ask that, dear graduate coordinator of the program you're going in for, I am interested in this and this application fee waiver because I have spent quite a lot of funds recently, and I'm almost done with my application and need to submit it, but I haven't finished, I'm not able to afford my application fee, please can you waive the application fee for me, or is there a code I can use to get it waived? Just a simple mail. You're not talking too much, you just go straight to the point. If you had spent so much money like I did, you tell them that due to your that you had spent beyond your budget, and you would appreciate if they can give you a waiver on this application. If you've not started the application, don't say you have almost finished and you just need the waiver to submit. It's a lie, because they have a way of checking from the back end. That's another thing. Do not say what is not the truth. Be sincere. The mindset here is that nobody lies. Anything you say is the truth. So in anything you do, do not forge anything. Do not try to be what you're not. Right? When I was talking about us blowing our trumpet, I just wanted us to say the things we do the way we do it. If you do something well, say it well, the way someone will listen to it and know that yes, this person did. Don't just say I clean the toilet. Say I have consistently ensured that the restroom in my company is kept in the best hygienic, like put it in a way that it's okay. I know if I settle down to say this thing I want to say, I will say it better. That's how I want you to sit down and think through. When you're done and you feel it's not okay, ask someone, ask questions, right? So with these 7 points, I have demystified the fears. I don't know if you have any other fear that we didn't mention. Please, I want you to put it down so that we can talk about it. But I assure you that a lot of these fears have been dealt with, and you don't have any excuses anymore, right? And in the next video, we'll be looking at the steps. There are about 10 to 11 steps that you need to take. I'm sure when you have these steps, you just start running. You hit the ground running immediately. So thank you once more for being with me for this number of minutes. Please don't forget to click on the subscribe button, and do not forget to click on the notification bell, so that whenever there is a new release, you're one of the first to be notified. And again, please put your comments or your suggestions or questions on the box, on the comment section. Do not keep quiet. Please ask me questions. Ask me all your questions, and I'll be glad to answer them. Once more, thank you so much. See you on the next video.